Hello wonderful people of the internet, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at some cool features throughout different Black Ops multiplayer experiences. So what we're essentially going to be doing is taking a specific topic and going through each of the Black Ops series games to see kind of how that has evolved over time and where that's really led us. So today we're going to be starting up the whole series with Gun Game. So Gun Game, in case you guys didn't know, was first introduced in Call of Duty Black Ops 1. It's the first ever Call of Duty to ever have Gun Game. So I kind of want to delve into this topic a little bit here, so why don't we just hop right into it. So in Call of Duty Black Ops, which was the first Black Ops of the series, you had these things called wager matches. These wager matches were multiplayer matches that were more of like essentially party game modes, but you would put a bet down. So you had these things called COD points, not the COD points that you guys all know. No. You had COD points within the specific Black Ops game. It was a specific set of coins, or not really coins, but like points that you earned throughout playing multiplayer matches, ranking up, stuff like that, that allowed you to purchase weapons and purchase attachments for those weapons. Because in Black Ops 1, you didn't just level up and unlock the weapons as you leveled up. No, you unlocked the ability to purchase those weapons, and then you would use the COD points that you earned to purchase those weapons and so on and so forth. Now, not only could you purchase those weapons, but you could take these COD points and you could go over to the wager matches section. As you can see here, there's three different tiers. So you had Ante-Up, Weekend Gambler, and High Roller that you could choose from. Now these changed in the amount of points that you used to buy into a match. So Ante-Up was just a simple 10-point buy-in. 10 points was really easy to get back then, like literally no issue at all to get that. Then the Weekend Gambler was 100 points to be able to go into those matches, and the High Roller was 1,000. Now when you went into these matches, you queued up into a lobby of up to 6 people back in this game, and once you got into a lobby of 6 people, you had a choice to double down or not. If you click double down and you got enough people to vote for it, it would actually double the amount of points being used to buy into the match. Now the reason that you use these points to buy into a match isn't just like a paid exclusive thing to get into. No, it's actually because the top 3 people in each match would actually gain points back from the experience. So as you can see here at the very end of this game of Gun Game here that I played in Black Ops 1, you can see that the top 3 people each earned points. The top number 1 person in my Ante-Up match won 30 points. Second place won 18, and third place got 12. Now while we all put in 10, so 12's not like a lot, 18's a little bit, but 30 is obviously what you would want. But this scales according to how much you put in. So if you were to go to the Weekend Gambler section and pay 100 coins to get into a match, then at the end of the round it would be 300 for the top one, 180 for the second one, and 120 for third place. So obviously there's a little bit of a risk reward here. Like if you were better, then you know you gained up the coins and you'd eventually be able to go to High Roller, which is where the more experienced players were. So this kind of separated the community, where Ante-Up was more of casual players and the High Roller would be the more experienced player, the one who's better at the game, or so on and so forth. So it'd get more competitive the higher the pay up was. And as I said before in the video, this was used for all of the party type game modes within Black Ops 1. In case you guys didn't know, Black Ops 1 is where we saw the first game, or first version, of not only Gun Game, but also Sharpshooter, One in the Chamber, and Sticks and Stones. Now I have one other video planned for next Wednesday where we're going to be reviewing Sticks and Stones. Then the last Wednesday, was just going to be a generic multiplayer overview of all the Black Ops series games, so we won't be going into One in the Chamber or Sharpshooter. But if you guys would like to see videos on those, please leave a comment down below letting me know that, because I can make those for you guys. Now as you can see from the gameplay, most of the weapons are just base weapons. That's because only 3 weapons out of the entire list of weapons in Black Ops 1 actually had attachments. And yes, the guns were always the same in every single match in Black Ops 1. So you had to fight through 20 different weapons in order to win the game. The weapons went as following: a Python with a speed loader, so that way you could reload it faster. A Makarov with dual wield, so that way you could hip fire and shoot a little bit faster. Followed by the Spaz 12, the Stakeout, the MP5, the Scorpion, which was also dual wielded, the AK-74U, the M14, the M16, the FAMAS, the AUG, the HK-21, the M60, the L96A1, the WA-2000, the Grim Reaper, the M72 Law, the China Lake, the crossbow, and finally finished off by the ballistic knives. So essentially the way that they set gun game up in Black Ops 1 was to go pistols to shotguns to ARs to LMGs to snipers and over to launchers, and then finish with some specials. Now another thing about Call of Duty Black Ops 1 is that the crossbow in the game had an explosive tip, kind of by default. So if you didn't end up killing them on the first hit, it would explode and kill them right after that. It also gave you the chance to actually get double kills and stuff like that, which would in turn not win the game for you, but just give you that extra kill by the end of the game. Now, in case you were wondering, demoting was still a thing inside of this game. You can see it happened to me here a few times in this game. Also, I apologize for how shit the aim is in this video, because this is my first time playing on Xbox. I had to pull out my Xbox in order to find a match in Black Ops 1 that had a gun game going. Like, I could not find one anywhere else. So this is the only game I was able to record for this, and using an Xbox controller to play Call of Duty for the first time, like, ever. Not really ever, but like in a long time. It's really hard, and I found that my sensitivity was way too high, but I couldn't get a second match to fix that. So here we are with me looking like straight ass. Anyways, it did have demoting. If somebody knifed you, you were set back one gun only, and that was just kind of the gist of it. I think that pretty much covers all of Black Ops 1 gun game. Anything else you guys have, like any questions or anything like that, leave those down in the comments below. I'll hop down there, I'll answer them. Make sure that you guys understand how it really worked if you are curious about this. Alright, now we are moving on to the second game in the Black Ops series, also known as Call of Duty Black Ops 2. What more can you say about Call of Duty Black Ops 2 other than it's just known as one of the best multiplayer experiences of all time? There's nothing more to really say about that, right? And no doubt was Gun Game one of the most played game modes within the game. Now in Black Ops 2, they did cut out the wager mode. There was no more COD points, no more none of that nonsense. You didn't have to buy into certain modes. So, what that meant was you could be coming up against a player who was really good at gun game, or you could be facing an entire lobby full of noobs. It was completely random, there wasn't any kind of tiered system like the points made in the wager system in Black Ops 1 to kind of separate the lower end player from the high end player. So you still had 20 weapons in this game mode. You still had to fight through all 20 of the weapons. This time though, all of the weapons, except for, the special ones at the very end of the list, actually had an attachment on it. Now these weapons still weren't randomized. These weapons still didn't have random attachments or anything like that. No, they were a set series of weapons with a set series of attachments that you had to fight through every single time. So once you got used to the weapons, you could eventually get really good at it and essentially fight your way through the gun game faster. Now, if you were to go back in time to when Black Ops 2 was out, what you would have seen was a lot of people who were uploading gun game games were uploading 20-0 gun games. So what that means is where they got all 20 kills without dying a single time throughout the entire match. It was a huge achievement, but at the same time, I think that kind of shows where Call of Duty started to take a step back. And I think this is where a lot of the current community issues actually end up boiling down to, like where they actually started. See, with the wager system, you had the low-end players playing the easiest of the easy people. Whereas if you got good at it and you gained up the points to be able to go up to it, you would go and play the high roller playlist. And what that would do was essentially break the community, so that way the high tier players weren't always coming against the low tier players. Now in this gun game, it kind of pitted all the players against each other, so it didn't matter if you were good at the game, bad at the game, you would just get randomly matched. And I think this is where we start to see the Call of Duty community start to get almost more competitive, to the point to where everybody starts to kind of try really hard, become, in my day, what we called quote-unquote tryhards, and more nowadays is called just sweating. So while this was an issue, one of the ways that they actually advanced gun game was that they moved it up to 8 players instead of just 6. So while, yeah, you could have a really good player in your lobby, you could also have a lot more bad players in your lobby. What that meant is there is a chance that you could beat out a better player, just by chance of like where spawns are and such. Another way that Black Ops 2 evolved gun game in general was that they added it to private match. And not only that, but inside of the private match you actually had options to change the weapons. So if you wanted like all close range weapons, like shotguns, pistols, stuff like that, you could choose a close range playlist. You could choose a sharpshooter playlist if you wanted more snipers and like rifles that were meant for longer ranges and stuff like that. So that was really cool to see, because you could get your friends, you know, if you only had like 4 or 5 friends, you could get all into a match, you could set some custom limitations, and then you could just have fun. Whereas in Black Ops 1, gun game was not in custom games, so you could not play with just your friends. You had to try to queue into a wager match and hope that you got into the same lobby with them, which I think also shows that the game mode really evolved here in Black Ops 2. Alright, so next let's go ahead and look at the 20 weapons that they had within the Black Ops 2 series. You had the B23R with a tack knife at the beginning, followed by the Cat 40 dual wielded, Executioner with a laser, KSG with a quick draw handle, the M1216 with an extended clip, the MSMC with a grip, the Scorpion Evo with a laser, the Chicom CQB with a reflex sight, the M27 with an MMS sight, the M8A1 with EOTech, the SMR with an ACOG scope, the QBB LSW with a target finder, the MK48 with a hybrid sight, the SVU with dual band, DSR 50 with variable zoom, the Ballista with an iron sight, and then we move on to the rocket launchers, where we see the SMAW, the RPG, then onto the specialties, which are the crossbow, and finally the ballistic knife, like we had seen in previous Call of Duties. And the crossbow still had an explosive tip in this game mode. Now other than that, not too much had really changed when it comes to multiplayer and how it all worked, other than the wager match being really the biggest change of them all. Obviously, they evolved the game mode to add attachments to pretty much every single weapon. They also added it to private matches, so that way you could just go and play with your friends. And while that's great and all, I think it's time to move on and see what they did in Black Ops 3. Alright, so in Black Ops 3, we got to see the first time Call of Duty started to do these exclusive game modes. And unfortunately, gun game ended up falling into that category. So gun game on Black Ops 3 was officially released 3 separate times, or like had 3 separate phases to it. I think I want to start out with the weapons in this game. So all of the weapons were preset again. They all had preset attachments on them. But I'm just going to run through the whole list real quickly so you guys can get a glimpse of what it really was. So first you had the MR6 with fast mag and laser sight, followed by the RK5 dual wielded, LCAR 9 with a reflex sight, the KRM 262 with long barrel and suppressor, Argus with BOA 3, the Haymaker 12 with extended mags, the VMP with long barrel and grip, the Pharaoh with a suppressor, the Razorback with a reflex sight, HVK-30 with fast mags and rapid fire, the KN-44 with high caliber and FMJ, the M8A7 with recon sight, the Shiva with the thermal sight, the Gorgon with extended mags, Dingo with quick draw and laser sight, Locust with ballistic CPU, the SVG-100 with ELO sight, the KM-53, the combat knife is number 19, and finally, just straight up bare fists. Now, if you couldn't tell by that list, the very ending of it ends with the combat knife and the fist. That's because at the very beginning, they didn't have any kind of crossbow, and they didn't have any kind of ballistic knife. It was the first Black Ops game within the entire series to not have those at launch. But what they ended up doing was throughout the game's lifespan, you had essentially loot boxes and stuff that you could buy with the brand new COD points. The COD points that you are all familiar with. This actually started as a trend with Advanced Warfare, but when Black Ops 3 came out, they kind of continued that trend, and so by the end of the life cycle, they had added a number of new guns into the game, including one called the NX Shadowclaw, which in the second version of Gun Game would end up replacing the combat knife as the second to last one, essentially becoming the crossbow. The only difference is that it could shoot rapid fire and not just one bolt at a time. It had like a whole canister of bolts that it just went do 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 do, and then you would kill someone. And then lastly, they did add in the ballistic knives through the loot box system, and that ended up becoming the final gun in the second iteration of Gun Game. Now, in the third and final iteration of the Gun Game, kind of, in Black Ops 3, they kept the same final two. The only difference between the three modes was the weapons that they had actually put in to the order of guns. So the list of guns between the very beginning one and the very final one are completely different. Almost all unique weapons between the two of them. Now, like I said earlier, this is a limited time mode, and currently Gun Game is not available to play in Black Ops 3, at least at the time of recording this video. So, what I had to do was I had to record this gameplay against bots. So what you're seeing in the background is actually me just playing a bunch of bots in a custom match. And that's really all I can do for now. But they did return with the custom match. And in this one, not only could you choose from pre-selected loadouts, you could actually go in and completely customize each and every single weapon to be what you want it to be in the custom game. So if you wanted like a unique selection of guns that wouldn't normally pop up in any kind of gun game, then you could go in and you could just be like, hey, I want this weapon first, this weapon second, this weapon third. You'd really mix it up on people, which added to the game, but at the same time, without Gun Game being there in the normal game all the time, it kind of takes away from what Gun Game really is and has been throughout the Black Ops series. And now we're going to be moving on to the last game in the Black Ops series so far. Obviously, we still have Cold War coming out here in a little bit on the 13th of November. But in Black Ops 4, they continued the trend of having limited time modes. So Gun Game was one of those limited time modes. They had a bunch of different party modes that were limited time. And they rotated these on like a weekly basis this time. So like every week there's another one. So whether it be Sticks and Stones, One in the Chamber, Gun Game, you know, what have you. They always had a featured game mode. And so in Black Ops 4, they also kept the Gun Game in the custom match. And yes, you could go through and edit a lot of the Gun Game options. So what you're seeing here, again, is Black Ops 4, but with really crappy bots, obviously, because I am tearing them apart. The bots in Black Ops 4 are god-awful. But the big important difference is that in the original game, it ended with a knife. When the game first came out, the final gun in Gun Game, when it first came out, was just a straight knife. There wasn't a ballistic knife yet. They added the ballistic knife part of the way through the game. And then, as you can see, at the end of this Black Ops 4 gameplay, there's a ballistic knife there now. Now I'm just using the standard preset thing here. I don't have a list of weapons here. There's none listed online that I can find. I would watch through this whole thing and tell you guys, but you can see me physically use all of the weapons, and I don't know what attachments are on them because you can't really tell. So I think that's going to really wrap it up for this gun game video. That's kind of how gun game has evolved. Now, if you were to ask me, I think a mix between like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 would be perfect. Like if we had the wager mode system, but we also had it so that way we had more attachments on weapons and maybe they were a little bit more randomized. I think I would be down for that. I like random weapons in gun game. I think it adds a layer of user error, user stress type of thing, where the player really has to adapt and overcome the obstacles that they may get, whether they get a really bad weapon or whether they get a really good weapon. I think Modern Warfare has the weapon switching on point, and if they keep that, I would be pretty happy. The only other thing that I would ask is that they keep gun game in the game as a normal mode. Just have a separate party tab like you did in Black Ops 2. It's so easy, and it's fine. Nobody's gonna complain about that. And if you're worried about people not being able to find matches, just allow them to queue for more than one match, like in Modern Warfare. That solves the entire issue entirely. I don't see why we have to segregate all these modes and have them for a limited time, instead of just having them all in there so that way people can just play them when they want to, and not when it's a limited time mode. Anyways, we'll see what happens with Black Ops Cold War. I'm hopeful that they'll fix it. I'm hopeful that they will do it justice within this game. I am excited to play gun game within Black Ops Cold War. It's one of my favorite game modes, consistently throughout all the Call of Duty titles. Ever since it came out in Black Ops 1, it's been easily one of my favorite modes by far. Matter of fact, it's probably what I spent almost all of my time playing in Call of Duty Black Ops 1. You see my rank back at the very beginning. Here, I'll even show some gameplay now. I'm not a very high rank, and that entire rank is from pretty much just playing gun game. I never played really anything but gun game in Black Ops 1 because I was really young back then. I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this look through Call of Duty Black Ops series, gun game evolution type of thing, whatever it is. I don't really know what to call it yet, but if you did, please leave a like. It lets me know that you are enjoying the videos. Leave a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. Subscribe to get more content from me. Right now I have a zombie series going on. It's a round 20 challenge on the Treyarch Zombies maps, and I'm also playing through the Black Ops series campaigns. So we've already finished Black Ops 1, and the first half of the Black Ops 2 campaign will be coming out in 2 days on Friday. There's going to be links down in the description below to playlist for all of those videos, also to a Black Ops Cold War Hype Up series, which is what I'm calling this entire series of me playing through all this Black Ops series stuff to get ready for Cold War when it releases on the 13th. I do expect to have all of my content out and finished for this entire series the day before Cold War releases, and then the day that Cold War releases, we're going to be streaming over on Twitch at twitch.tv/butternut69. You can catch me there live right now because it's Halloween time. You're going to see me playing horror streams and like horror games and stuff like that. So if you want to see that, go ahead and go to Twitch. You can follow me on there if you would like. But yeah, we're gearing up towards Cold War, guys, and the Cold War beta was a fun time. I feel like it was really sweaty for a beta, but hopefully that doesn't end up transferring over to the final game. We'll see how they handle it, and I'm just going to end this video here because I'm rambling too much. Anyways, see you guys next time. Butternut69 is out.